In a marketplace where grace and work collide, we stand as lights where truth and vision reside. Hands that build with hearts that seek to give, faithful in the journey as we strive to live. Christians in business, a call to serve with heart, shining in the world where love and faith impart. Where every step we take, His purpose guides the way, bringing hope to every deal and grace to every day. Integrity speaks in actions we create, kingdom values woven into each endeavor we make. From small beginnings to mountains we'll move. His Spirit empowers the work we pursue. Christians in business, a call to serve with heart, shining in the world where love and faith impart. Where every step we take, His purpose guides the way, bringing hope to every deal and grace to every day. In every challenge, His wisdom we seek, trusting Him to guide the way we speak. Through every victory and every fall, His presence lifts us, in Him we stand tall. Christians in business, a call to serve with heart, shining in the world where love and faith impart. Where every step we take, His purpose guides the way, bringing hope to every deal and grace to every day. In every challenge, His wisdom we see, trusting Him to guide the way we speak. Through every victory and every fall, His presence lifts us, in Him we stand tall. Christians in business, a journey to embrace His kingdom, advancing through each step of grace.
Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. And today we're going to kind of look at something that's been a question for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
How do we live out our faith in the marketplace?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's really a question of, trying to reconcile spiritual values with, pursuing profit.
Right.
And so the source of material we have today is actually a podcast script called Christians in Business.
Oh, wow.
So it's sort of a deep dive within a deep dive.
I like it.
And it really kind of lays out some interesting perspectives on, this very question and how we kind of deal with that tension.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because they jump right into it. They go right to the biblical basis for this, and they start with Colossians 3:23.
Right.
Working heartily as unto the Lord.
Yeah, and that brings up a good question. Like, what does that actually look like, practically speaking? I mean, does that apply to, any job, even ones that are maybe ethically questionable? And, some theologians argue it's more about the motivation behind the work, seeing it as an act of service, regardless of the actual task itself.
Okay.
So it's not about what you do, but why you do it.
Okay, so it's the motivation behind it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then the script introduces us to Sarah, who is this bakery owner.
Okay.
And she seems to really kind of embody this idea. Right. She's not just, running a business, but she's woven her faith into every aspect of it.
And so what are some ways that she does that?
Well, the script highlights that, it's more than just donating profits to charity.
Ah.
She's prioritizing her employees' well-being. She's creating this strong sense of community.
Okay.
And she's even using her bakery as a platform to support, local causes.
Oh, wow. So she's really making that a part of her overall business plan.
Yeah, it seems to be really integrated into her whole approach.
Okay, now here's the question, though.
Yeah.
Does that kind of approach, putting those things first, does it actually work in a competitive market?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah, because the script seems to suggest that if you put God first, everything else falls into place.
Yeah. Have you found that to be true in your experience?
I mean, sometimes it seems like that's the case, but then other times it doesn't seem like it. You know what I mean?
Right. It's definitely not a guaranteed formula.
Yeah.
But, there is a growing body of research that suggests that businesses that are purpose-driven, they have this strong ethical core, they often actually outperform their competitors.
Oh, wow.
In the long run.
So it might not be the instant gratification, but over time?
Yeah, it seems like there's some evidence to support that.
That's fascinating. So it's not just, feel-good stuff. It actually might make good business sense.
Potentially. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, well, so the script then goes into some practical tips for weaving faith into work.
Okay.
And the first one they talk about is leading with integrity.
Yeah, that should really be a no-brainer for any business,
Right.
Christian or not.
Right.
Proverbs 11.1 says, dishonest scales are an abomination to the Lord.
Mm,
So, there's that biblical mandate.
right.
But even just from a practical standpoint,
Right.
think about it.
Like, how do you run a business without trust?
Exactly. You can't build lasting relationships with customers, employees, investors.
Right. You got to have that foundation.
You need that foundation.
Trust.
And the script emphasizes that integrity, it's not just about avoiding outright dishonesty.
Right.
It's about transparency, fairness, and keeping your promises even when it's hard.
It's doing the right thing even when it's not easy,
Yeah,
which can be a challenge sometimes,
you definitely can be.
especially in a competitive market.
Yeah, where the pressure's on.
Yeah. It makes me think about all those corporate scandals we've seen over the years.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like that lack of integrity eventually catches up with you.
It usually does.
Yeah. Okay, so the second tip in the script is serving others,
Right.
putting relationships above transactions.
And that can sound counterintuitive in a, profit-driven world
Yeah, how do you make money if you're,
if you're not focused on the bottom line.
right.
But, think about it this way. When you focus on genuinely meeting the needs of your customers,
Mm-hmm.
your employees, your community,
Right.
that creates loyalty,
It does.
goodwill, and a strong reputation.
Yeah, people want to do business with people that they can trust.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's like a spiritual principle, but it's also just a good business strategy.
Yeah.
It's like they go hand in hand.
I like that. Okay. So the final tip the script offers is probably the most challenging one, and that is incorporating prayer into your workday.
Yeah, bringing God into the boardroom, as they say.
It's like, okay, how do you do that?
It's easy to dismiss that as, impractical or a bit woo-woo.
Yeah.
But I've actually found that even just taking a few moments of quiet reflection throughout the day can really help.
Just to stay grounded, make wiser decisions, maintain a sense of peace.
Yeah, in the midst of all the chaos.
Exactly.
That's really good.
Okay.
I could see how that would be beneficial. But what about, there are a lot of people out there that are working in environments where,
Yeah.
maybe it's not really encouraged to be bringing your faith into the office.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And the script kind of acknowledges this.
It does.
And it cautions against being preachy or judgmental.
Right.
But it encourages us to be a light in those spaces.
Right. But what does that actually mean, practically speaking?
Yeah, because it's easy to just say be a light, but what does that look like
Exactly.
in day-to-day,
Right.
interactions?
In real life situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the script suggests, praying for wisdom, seeking opportunities for positive influence, and standing firm in your values even when you face opposition.
Okay, so it's about being true to yourself,
Yeah.
but also being respectful of others.
And trying to find those opportunities to make a difference.
Okay, so we've talked about the script's foundation in Scripture,
Mm-hmm.
the inspiring example of Sarah,
Yeah.
and these practical tips for integrating faith into the workplace.
Right.
But now, I kind of want to zoom out a little bit
Okay.
and look at the bigger picture here.
I'm listening.
The fact that we have this podcast script dedicated to this topic
Yeah.
tells us something, I think.
It does.
There's obviously a desire for this conversation.
Yeah.
People want to figure out how to live out their values in a world that doesn't always seem to align with those values.
Right. It's a real struggle.
So why do you think this resonates so strongly with people today?
Well, I think it speaks to a growing disillusionment with, that traditional model of success.
Okay.
People are tired of the cutthroat competition,
Yeah.
the relentless pursuit of profit at any cost.
Right.
They're longing for something more meaningful,
Yeah.
more purposeful
Yeah.
in their work, something that aligns with their values, something that makes a positive impact.
So it's not just about faith.
Right.
It's about a deeper yearning for purpose,
I think so.
integrity,
Yeah.
something that transcends the bottom line.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And that's why I think this conversation is so important. You know, we're trying to figure out how to live integrated lives where our faith informs not just our personal lives, but our professional lives as well.
Yeah, so it's not compartmentalizing.
No, it's about bringing it all together.
Bringing it all together. That's good. And maybe, just maybe, if we can figure out how to live out our faith in the marketplace, we can start to change the marketplace itself.
Now, that's a thought-provoking idea.
We'll continue our deep dive in just a moment, but before we do, I want to ask you, the listener, what's resonating with you so far? What questions or challenges are coming up for you? Hold on to those thoughts, and we'll be back in a minute to explore them further.
As the day winds down, work is done. Lift our eyes to the Holy One. At every choice, every deed, we gave our all. Living each moment, faithful to the call. We'll walk in His truth, we'll stand in His grace, building His kingdom in every space. Though the journey is long, His love lights the way. Faithful to the call, each and every day. In the trials faced, in the goals we've set, His hand reminds us He's not done yet. Through the highs and lows, He's been our guide. With His wisdom and strength, we'll always abide. We'll walk in His truth, we'll stand in His grace, building His kingdom in every space. Though the journey is long, His love lights the way. Faithful to the call, each and every day. In the trials faced, in the goals we've set, His hand reminds us He's not done yet. Through the highs and lows, He's been our guide. With His wisdom and strength, we'll always abide. We'll walk in His truth, we'll stand in His grace, building His kingdom in every space. Though the journey is long, His love lights the way. Faithful to the call, each and every day. So we pray for wisdom and courage to be a reflection of Christ for the world to see. With hearts full of hope, we'll answer His plea. Go into the world and glorify me. We'll walk in His truth, we'll stand in His grace, building His kingdom in every space. Though the journey is long, His love lights the way. Faithful to the call, each and every day. Until we meet again, may His peace surround. In the work we do, may His joy be found. Faithful to the call, we'll always remain, until we gather here to listen again.
Welcome back to our deep dive, into faith and business.
It's been a fascinating conversation so far, and I'm kind of curious, to explore some of the practical challenges
Of actually integrating faith into our work lives.
Absolutely. I mean, the script does touch on this a little bit, particularly when it talks about, dealing with difficult situations,
Right.
or working in environments that don't necessarily, share our values.
Yeah, like that listener question we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
About how do you, maintain your Christian values in a workplace
Right.
that maybe doesn't share those same beliefs.
Right.
It's a real struggle for a lot of people.
It is. And the script's advice about being a light,
Right.
Is well-intentioned.
Yeah.
But I think it could benefit from some more concrete examples.
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in a high-pressure sales environment?
Exactly.
Or when you're facing a decision that could compromise your ethics,
Yeah, it's one thing to say lead with integrity,
Right.
but it's another thing to actually do it.
Yeah, to actually navigate those gray areas
Right. Yeah.
where the lines aren't so clear.
Exactly.
Think about advertising, for example. How do you balance the need to promote your product or service honestly
Right.
while still making it appealing to customers?
Yeah.
What about managing a team with diverse beliefs and values?
Right.
How do you create a workplace culture that's respectful of everyone's perspective without compromising your own?
That's tough.
It is tough.
And these are real dilemmas that people face.
Right.
And I think the script could have gone a little deeper in exploring those nuances.
I agree.
Because it's easy to offer general advice.
Yeah.
But the real challenge is applying it to real-life situations.
To those complex, messy situations that we face.
Exactly.
And let's not forget about, the systemic issues that are at play here.
Right.
The script focuses mainly on individual actions.
Okay.
But what about the broader economic and social forces that can either support or hinder ethical business practices?
Yeah, like government regulations, industry standards, cultural norms.
All of that.
All of that stuff plays into it.
Creates a context that can make it much harder to live out your faith in the marketplace.
So it's not just about personal choices.
Right.
It's also about maybe advocating for some systemic change.
Absolutely.
To create a more just and equitable marketplace.
Yeah, a marketplace where businesses operate with a conscience.
Right.
And prioritize people and the planet.
Along with profits.
Now,
that's a big topic.
It is.
Maybe one for another deep dive.
Another day.
But I think it's important to acknowledge that,
those external factors, for sure.
Because it's not always a level playing field out there.
It's not.
So, shifting gears a bit, one aspect of the script I found interesting was its discussion of the relationship between faith and success. And I appreciate that it doesn't promise that, if you're a Christian, you're automatically going to be a successful business person.
Right. It avoids that prosperity gospel trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it does suggest that faith can offer certain advantages in the business world. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, for one thing, faith can foster a strong work ethic.
Okay.
The idea of working as unto the Lord.
Right.
Like Colossians 3:23 says.
Yeah.
That can be a powerful motivator.
To do your best.
To strive for excellence in everything you do.
That's true. It's not just about punching the clock.
Yeah.
It's about seeing your work as a calling.
Right, a way to glorify God.
Through your efforts.
And that sense of purpose, can also fuel creativity and innovation.
Right.
When you believe that you're working in partnership with God, you're more likely to see possibilities that others might miss, to be open to, maybe even divine inspiration.
So it's not just about working harder.
No.
It's about working differently.
I think so.
With a different perspective and a sense of purpose.
That transcends the purely material.
Yeah, and let's not underestimate the power of faith in fostering resilience and perseverance.
Oh, that's huge.
Especially when you face setbacks.
Right, because every entrepreneur does.
Oh, yeah. There are going to be challenges.
Yeah.
And, that belief in a higher power can be a real source of strength.
Absolutely. It can be a comfort.
It gives you that longer-term perspective.
Yeah.
That even if this venture doesn't work out.
Right.
Your ultimate worth and purpose aren't defined by that.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And finally, I think faith can also build trust and credibility in the marketplace.
Wow.
When you're known for your integrity and ethical behavior, people are more likely to want to do business with you.
Yeah.
They sense that you'll treat them fairly.
Right.
Honestly, that your word is your bond.
So in a way, faith can become a competitive advantage.
It can.
Not in a manipulative sense.
No.
But because it shapes how you interact with the world.
Yeah.
And how you conduct your business.
It's about who you are.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee of success, of course.
Right.
But it can provide a really solid foundation.
For building a business that's both profitable and aligned with your values.
That's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal.
This has been a really thought-provoking discussion so far.
It has.
We've delved into some of those practical challenges and the potential advantages of integrating faith into the business world.
Yeah.
And in the final part of our deep dive, we're going to explore one of the most profound concepts the script puts forward.
And that is?
The idea of seeing our work as a form of worship.
Okay, so stay tuned as we explore this idea.
We'll be right back.
And consider how it might transform our approach to work.
And our understanding of success.
In the moments we doubt, His peace remains. Through the highs and the lows, His love sustains. Every challenge we face, every burden we bear, He walks beside us, His grace is always there. Grace in every step, His mercy never ends, guiding us through every trial, every bend. In the work we do, His purpose we embrace, leading with His light. In His truth we find our place. From the smallest task to the greatest feat, His presence makes our work complete. With hands that serve and hearts that seek, we follow His path, humble and meek. Grace in every step, His mercy never ends, guiding us through every trial, every bend. In the work we do, His purpose we embrace, leading with His light. In His truth we find our place. From the smallest task to the greatest feat, His presence makes our work complete. With hands that serve and hearts that seek, we follow His path, humble and meek. Grace in every step, His mercy never ends, guiding us through every trial, every bend. In the work we do, His purpose we embrace, leading with His light. In His truth we find our place. So we walk in faith and courage and grace, reflecting His love in every space. Though the journey may stretch far and wide, His hand will always be by our side. Grace in every step, His mercy never ends, guiding us through every trial, every bend. In the work we do, His purpose we embrace, leading with His light. In His truth we find our place. Grace in every step, forever we trust. In His love our work is just.
Well, welcome back to the deep dive. We've been, talking about how faith and business kind of intersect, and, I think we're getting to the most interesting part, the most intriguing concept from this Christians in Business podcast script, and that is work as a form of worship. Yeah. It's a pretty powerful idea, isn't it?
It is.
Really kind of shifts our perspective from, seeing work as just a means to a paycheck, to actually an opportunity to honor something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah. I'll admit, when I first heard this phrase, work is worship, I was like, I don't know about that,
Right.
How does filing expense reports or going to meetings,
Yeah.
how does that become an act of worship?
Right. I mean, it's easy to picture worship as something you do in a church, with music and rituals.
Right.
But what if we, kind of broaden our understanding of what worship is to, encompass any activity we do with intention, with excellence, and with a heart that's focused on, glorifying God.
So it's not about the specific task itself,
Right.
but the attitude and the motivation behind it.
Exactly.
The script seems to suggest that even, mundane jobs can become acts of worship if you approach them with that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
So give me an example.
Well, imagine a janitor.
Okay.
Who sees their work as not just cleaning floors, but, creating a space of order and beauty for others.
Oh.
Or a customer service rep who, views each interaction as a chance to show compassion and patience, even when they're dealing with difficult callers.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's really about, how you approach it.
Yeah, so the script, does it offer any practical advice for how to actually cultivate this?
It does.
This work is worship mentality?
Yeah, it talks about starting each day with a prayer, inviting God into your workspace, seeking His guidance for the day.
So it's about setting that intention from the beginning.
Right from the get.
Reminding yourself that, you're ultimately working for an audience of one.
Yeah.
Even if you have earthly bosses to answer to.
Even if you have, performance reviews.
Exactly.
It also emphasizes the importance of serving others through your work. whether it's your customers, your colleagues, or even your competitors,
Right.
looking for ways to make a positive impact,
Mm-hmm.
going above and beyond,
Okay.
just, fulfilling your job description.
So it's about, finding that sweet spot between what you're good at,
Yeah.
what the world needs,
Mm-hmm.
and how you can use your gifts to bless others.
That's it.
I like that. And it talks about, the importance of our inner world, our
Yeah.
thoughts and attitudes,
So,
encouraging us to cultivate gratitude,
yeah.
joy, peace, even amidst the stresses of work.
Right. Because if your work is an offering to God,
Yeah.
you want that offering to be infused with a spirit of joy and thanksgiving,
Right.
not grumbling and resentment.
Yeah. Nobody wants a grumpy offering.
And it's about remembering that, our work ultimately is not for our own glory,
Right.
our own recognition.
It's for His glory.
Yeah.
And that's a powerful reminder, especially in a culture that's so focused on achievement.
Yeah.
We're so obsessed with success.
It's easy to get caught up in that and just, chase external validation.
Yeah.
But this is calling us to a different standard.
It is a different way of thinking.
It's really about reorienting our priorities.
Absolutely.
Finding fulfillment not just in what we achieve,
Right.
but in who we become
It's about the journey.
through our work. Yeah. And, maybe by approaching our work as an act of worship,
Mm-hmm.
we can start to see those, those mundane tasks,
Yeah.
those difficult colleagues.
The office drama.
Yeah, all the stuff we have to deal with,
Right.
in a new light.
And a new light.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're going to magically disappear.
Right.
But maybe it'll shift our perspective enough to find meaning and purpose.
Even in those challenges.
Yeah.
That's what I think is so compelling about this whole idea. It's not about, escaping the realities of work.
No.
But about transforming our experience.
Right. Finding that deeper meaning of it. Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm going to leave you, the listener, with a question.
Okay.
What if your work was a form of worship?
Mm.
How would it change your approach,
Yeah.
your attitude?
Your interactions with others.
What seeds of creativity or compassion
Mm-hmm.
might be waiting to be cultivated in the soil of your everyday work? We encourage you to ponder these questions and see where they lead you.
In the quiet moments, hearts are still, seeking His wisdom, His perfect will. Every step we take, His love provides a firm foundation where we abide. Rooted in faith through every storm, His strength within us keeps us warm. From small beginnings to boundless heights, He guides our way with His holy light. In the work we do, His presence is near. Through trials and triumphs, He is here. With hands that serve and hearts that pray, we walk in His truth, come what may. Rooted in faith through every storm, His strength within us keeps us warm. From small beginnings to boundless heights, He guides our way with His holy light. In the work we do, His presence is near. Through trials and triumphs, He is here. With hands that serve and hearts that pray, we walk in His truth, come what may. So we trust the process, let His will unfold. In His love our story is bold. Through every challenge, His light will shine. Faithful and truth, come weather divine. Rooted in faith through every storm, His strength within us keeps us warm. He keeps us from small beginnings to boundless heights. He guides our way with His holy light.